Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make these dot stickers. So I'm really excited about this video because I figured out a way how to do it just on Cricut Design Space, whereas before I was doing all this complicated stuff on Procreate or whatever to create like I was trying to create these symbol stickers, so it's a bit more complicated, but these dot stickers are so easy on Cricut Design Space, and so I'm really excited to share with you guys how I did them so that you guys can create your own. And I just made them in this business card size so that I can fit them easily, oopsies, into each of my slots, card slots in my planners, but you can do whatever size you want. I'll show you once I bring you guys to Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to turn you guys over onto the iPad screen recording so that you guys can see how to create this. Okay, so now you guys are seeing my Cricut Design Space, and I just have a blank project open. So I can show you guys from scratch how to create this. And first what we're going to do is just create the background shape. So for example, mine was kind of a business card size. So what you're going to do is bottom left, the third button is shapes. I'm going to hit square and drag it over to the corner. I don't know why I like to always work in that top corner. It doesn't really matter where you work. So then what we're going to do is go into edit, which is in the middle, the second button, unlock your shape because I don't want it to be a square dimensions. And so what I'm going to choose instead is, I think a business card is 2 by 3.5. But of course you can choose whatever shape you want. And I'm just going to zoom in. One idea that you could do is measure the pockets of the planners that you want to put this in. And that way it can be exact to that size so that you can slide it through those card slots. So now what I'm going to do is just change this color to white. So go into the cut and choose your color. I'm just going to choose white as my background. Okay, and then what we're going to do is create the titles. You don't have to have titles, of course, but I just like to, name my little sticker sheet. So go to text, which is in the bottom left, the second button. Choose the font that you want, and then create your title. I'm just going to say Mini Dots Coffee. And then what you do is, I want to make this smaller. So what I'm going to do, instead of dragging it on my own, I just come over here into the edits pane in the second section, the second button. In the right side, you have the width and the height, and make sure you lock it because you want the same dimensions, as in you don't want your letters to be squished. You want them to maintain that same distance. So then after you've locked it, I'm just going to change the width to 1.5. And that's because I know my background's square or rectangle, is 2 inches wide. So I just want it to be slightly smaller. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, with that still highlighted in your edit pane, go into that middle section. Right now, this is a cut setting, and that means it's going to want to cut those letters out, but you don't want that because you just want it printed onto the background. So hit no fill, then hit print, and choose the color you want that to be. I'm just gonna I like it just black. Then what I like to do is just have another title at the bottom, which you don't have to do, but I do like that. So I'm just gonna add text again, and I'll just put Mommy Plans at the bottom. Of course, you don't have to do that or add anything or add any titles, And then go into the edit again. And this time I'm going to make this 1 inch because I like my bottom section just to be a bit smaller. The bottom text to be a bit smaller than the top. And again, make sure it's not a cut setting and change it to print. I'll keep it black. Okay. And then at this point, you don't have to do this, but I think it makes the workspace a bit easier, is highlight everything and then go into actions, which is your first button in that middle section in the bottom, and hit flatten. Okay, and then this just becomes one piece, so you don't have to worry about it moving off your background. And then now we're going to go in and create the actual dots. And of course, you could do any shape that you want. once you get the hang of how this process works, you can create, you know, those little triangle stickers or heart stickers. Really, you can do anything. The world is your oyster. It's really just the steps that you're following, and these steps are all going to be the same, whatever shape stickers you want to do. Okay, so I'm going to choose this circle and then go into edit, and I'm going to change the size of my circle. So in the width and the height, I'm going to put 0.25 inches. And in my 2.25, this isn't going to be the actual sticker size. This is just going to be what I want printed at the back. And when I say that, and what I mean by that is this is just going to be the background first of what you're getting printed, and then you're going to create the actual cut for the sticker dot that you're going to layer on top of this. So here you want this to be slightly bigger than your actual sticker. And the reasoning is because sometimes your Cricut won't cut precisely, and you don't want the sticker to be like half white or whatever the background color is, because then it'll ruin your sticker, right? So sorry, that's probably not a great explanation. Let me show you. Okay, so first take that cut and change it to the color of the sticker that you want it to be. So instead of cut, go to no fill, then hit print and choose the color. So I like it like a light brown shade, right? So that's my dot sticker. And then what you're going to do is duplicate these dots. And sorry, how you duplicate it is go into your layers, and the layers pane will show up on your right, and then just highlight your circle and click that little bottom button with the two squares and the star in the middle. That's duplicate, and it'll just keep duplicating your your dots. Okay, and then what you'll do is, I have no idea why it turns my background black. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll have to check when I check my screen recording after, but my background is all black in my Cricut design space, but it doesn't affect the function. Hopefully that doesn't bother you guys. Okay, so now what you're going to do is highlight this first row of dots, and you can choose how many ever dots you want across. So drag everything so that it's highlighted, and then make sure you're not highlighting the background so that you just have your dots highlighted. Okay? And the reason why I'm going to do that is then I'm going to go back to my layers pane, go to the bottom, go to that duplicate button, and duplicate each of these rows. Oops, sorry. So I clicked out of it, but just keep duplicating until you have your full sheet of stickers, or how many ever stickers you want on a sheet. So I'm just going to keep going till I get to the bottom. And you want to make sure that it's pretty lined up. Oops, I don't know why it deleted one of mine there. So that's pretty good. Okay, and then what we're going to do is highlight everything again. Oh, sorry, before you highlight everything again, take one of your dots and duplicate this and just put it off to the side. If you forget that step, it's not a huge deal, but it just makes it a bit easier. Okay, so highlight everything else besides that random dot on the side. Go back into your actions and flatten again, which is the two squares with the arrow pointing down. And now I flattened all of my dot stickers onto the background. Okay. So now what we're going to be doing is creating the actual sticker. So here we're using the print and cut function, which means that the Cricut is going to know to go print what you've created here, because remember when we were creating this, we made sure to take off the cuts for each of the dots and for the lettering and change it to the print function. So it's going to know to print this, right? But then what we need to do is, after it's printed this onto the sticker sheet, we need to actually cut each of the little dots, right? And so what we're going to do is that random dot that you created, go to edit, and go back to, so right now this dot is a print setting, but we're going to change this to cut. Oops. Sorry, I changed it to draw by accident. So change it to cut and then choose a different color from your sticker. So I just chose black because we're going to layer it on top and it'll just make it easier to see. So now what we're going to do is like I said before, we want to make the sticker a little bit smaller than your actual dots that you're printing. And so, for example, here, my dots, remember I made them 0.25. I'm going to make this, let's say, 0.21. So it's quite a bit smaller. And I'm just going to place it about in the middle. The reason why you want to do that, and maybe it'll be easier when I explain it now to visualize what I mean, is this is the circle that we want the Cricut to cut, right? And we place it in the middle, because that's where we want the Cricut to cut it. But if for some reason your Cricut doesn't cut in the middle, which it frequently does, like if you can imagine, if the Cricut blade isn't precisely lined up sometimes, it like cuts it over here or over here. So if we have this little extra space around, if the Cricut messes it up slightly, in terms of the alignment, your sticker will still be the brown color even though it's not in the middle. Whereas if you made it the exact same size and it cut it over here, for example, then half your sticker will be the brown color and the other half will be the background color. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now we're going to put that back in the middle. And now we're going to have to do this for each of those dots across. So what we're going to do is then go back to your layers and duplicate that circle. And then go here and put it in between each of those dots. Now, if you're having difficulty manually holding the circle and putting it into the middle, what you can do is go into the go into the edit. And I'm sorry if you're seeing this background as black, it's probably hard to read the words, but in this middle section, it's saying what the width and the height of your circle is, aka the dimensions, so the 0.21. And then on the right side here, a little bit further, the 0.56 is where the dot is situated. So if I move this to 0.57, it's the horizontal location. So 0.57, it moved a little bit horizontally, right? And then the V is your vertical position. So this moves it up and down. So that way, if you want to adjust it, but you can't quite do it manually by holding the dot, you can use that, okay? So now I'm just going to keep duplicating. And you want to get it as close to the middle as possible. I'm just doing this quickly, but you want to do it as close to the middle as possible. And then what you're going to do is highlight those dots. And again, in your layers pane, just make sure the background isn't highlighted. And then you're going to duplicate again. And put it in the center. So it gets a bit tricky. So I might go over here into my edit section and then change the position using the numbering here. So I want it to horizontally move over a little bit. So instead of 0.24, I'll put 0.25. And see, it moved it a little bit. And I'll move it down a little bit, so 0.67. And it's not perfect. So you could spend a while fixing this if you wanted to. So just play around with it. That's not perfect. The second line is not perfect. So I don't love that, but that's close enough. Okay, so you're going to keep doing that and line them up so that you have them. Oops. I'm not sure why it sometimes deletes it. It must hit a button by accident. Okay. So don't follow mine. Mine's obviously not in the middle, but do do what I was saying before by fixing it using, you know, the vertical and horizontal positions in your edit pane, because like you want it to be as lined up as possible so that your sticker is going to be as precise as possible. Okay, but if again we have that little extra space at the back, if it messes it up, it's okay. Okay, so I've been spending forever just doing it like this, so you can imagine that it does take a little bit of time to try to line it up, but take your time. Just for the purpose of this video, I don't want to be sitting here and having a 1-hour video showing you how to line it up. Okay, so after you've created all the dots, what you're going to do is highlight everything, go into actions, and now you're going to attach. And the attach is that little paperclip button. So it's the third one there. And it's attached your circles to your background. And what that means is, see, now when I move everything, it's not like the background moves away. It attaches to that background. And the reason why you need to do that is because you want the cuts to be in that precise spot within those dots. Okay, and then all you do is go into Make. And so first what we'll do is it will print. I'm not connected to my Cricut right now, but what it'll do is you're going to go hit print, and it's going to print this. And then after it prints it, what it will do is take you to the actual Cricut cut functions, and then you will cut it. So one other thing I forgot to mention, so I'm just jumping back on here, sorry if my screen looks different all of a sudden, is that instead of printing just the one, obviously, on your, when you go to Make, you don't want to just print one of them if your size of your sticker is only like, you know, the business card size, because that's a huge waste of sticker paper. So you want to fit as many as you can, right? Unfortunately, with Cricut, they don't really allow you to utilize the full letter size paper when you're doing the print and cut function, which is really annoying. And that's one of the drawbacks, I think, compared to Silhouette, because the Silhouette you can just use, I'm pretty sure, the entire page. But anyways, I digress. What can you do? So you just got to fit as many as you can. So I found, for example, with my business card size, I can fit about 6 to a page. And then, so what you do is you just take your sheet and just go into layers, and then go to duplicate, which is that bottom squares with the stars, and just duplicate it so you have, you know, how many you can fit onto the sheet. And I think 6 is perfect for that size. And then when you go to Make, you'll see that there is the 6 of them on that page. If, for example, when I put 8, it'll cut it into, you know, a second mat, which you probably don't want, because then you know that it's not going to all fit on one page, right? So just do as many as you can fit, and then off you go. So what it'll do is it looks like the black, you know, is there, but when you actually print it, it's going to print the background sheets. And then after you're done the printing, you're then going to put in your Cricut and do the actual printing, the Cricut cuts. Okay, and then you'll have your stickers. So I hope you guys found that tutorial helpful and informative. If you guys are thinking of making stickers, I would love to know what you guys are going to make below. And if you tried to make them before, you've made other stickers in the past, let me know how you've done it. I would love to learn the tips, because I'm really just still kind of a beginner, I think, on the Cricut, because there's just so much stuff that you can do. Anyways, so if you like this type of video and if you found this tutorial helpful, please consider subscribing, liking this video, and letting me know what you'd like to see from me next. I do a lot of tutorial videos, as well as plan with me's and some unboxings, and just anything to do with planners. Really, I love planning, so I'd love for you guys to subscribe to the channel and follow my planner journey. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.